Snowman here. Appreciate you guys stopping by. We're going to take a look at M9 bayonets. Several in my collection. I want to tell you a little bit about the history of the M9. We're going to just talk about it. I appreciate you guys stopping by my channel here. So I've got several M9s in my collection, and very cool bayonet. They came out, the first military contract was in 1987. The design is by Charles A. Mickey Finn. He designed this. The bayonet was actually taking from, there's two concepts that he viewed, and this all came about. One was from the Buckmaster knife, and the other one was he looked at the AKM. It's a Russian bayonet. He looked at that, and so that's how we get to this this bayonet system, the M9 Multi Purpose Bayonet System. So they took the Buckmaster blade profile, converted it right over to a kick-ass bayonet. They won the military contract, and the rest is history, okay guys? And I know a lot of you guys love the M9, and I love it too, and I'm going to get you up to speed on this M9. Yeah, the very first year they made between 1987 and 1989, they produced 325,000 of these bad boys went to the U.S. military. The very first ones went to the 1st Battalion, 58th Rangers at Fort Benning. So that's very cool. Mickey Finn, when he first designed this, these were stamped the XM9. He actually made 55 of them, him and his team. In-house, they were totally handmade. These were not factory line. These weren't the ones that were from Buck. These are 55 where he was competing for the military contract. That is, if you can find one of those, guys, you've just hit the lottery, because that is a hell of a find. If you can find an XM9, they're stamped XM9 29. The 29 stands for the 29th trial. They won the military contract. Mickey Finn won it with his company Frobus 3 over big companies. Carl Eckhorn from Germany, Ontario, several others, very huge. And once he brought that design forward, no changes could be made. We're going to talk about that. Once you sign a contract with the military and they agree to a certain product, they'll agree to certain stampings, they'll agree to certain product. That's what you have to make. You can't have any changes. So yeah, this one is from Frobus International. This is M9 Frobus International, stamped Spain. When Mickey Finn went over there early 91, he parted ways with Buck. So they made 325,000 from 1987 to 1989. And I'll get to some more history stuff here. Let me show you this. This is a Gen 4. This is a Gen 4 Frobus. This one's stamped M9 Frobus 3 USA, patent pending. Now what is that color there? Let me tell you what that color is. That is not a phosphate color. Okay guys? See a lot of videos out there on YouTube where guys are saying this is phosphate. It's not phosphate. That is glass bead blasted. That glass bead blasted. It's a sandblasting procedure that gets you that gray color. That's what it actually is, alright? This is 425 modified stainless steel. We've got a special serration spine there. What will that cut? That cuts aircraft sheet metal. It's designed to cut aircraft sheet metal, that type of sheet metal steel, and so it works. It's very proficient in doing that. It has a fuller, also known as a blood groove. I'm not going to get into what I think that's actually called, because it doesn't matter. People call it fuller, people call it blood groove. It's a fuller blood groove. Got an outstanding hollow grind built on these, and a little over a 7.1 inch blade, and that Bowie style profile blade. These have a screw-in tang. This is Dupont Zytel handle. This handle is very robust. It can handle temperatures down to minus 50 degrees below zero, all the way up to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's one hell of a Zytel Dupont, material there for the handle. We've got a lug attachment. We've got your hand guard there that's designed to go on a battle rifle. This is attached to your lug. You've got a battle. You've got a bayonet that can attach to your M16. It'll attach to some Mossberg shotguns. So very cool. Also M4s. This is your T-Lug hole, and it's a clip point design. So what you do, well, you take this sheath. This is called your T-Lug right here. You got a cutter plate. No, this one isn't messed up. So this is, you got a little flathead screwdriver deal. This one is my Frobus. See how the T-Lug is kind of angled? The commercial ones have a little stop tab here. Military versions don't. So you just put your knife up there, go over your T-Lug, get your wire in there, bam, you can cut wire with this. It's designed to cut concertina wire or low-grade wire. You don't want to be cutting anything, no types of electrical wire. These aren't electrical wire rated, and you're not going to get any protection for that. It's just designed to cut concertina wire and small type wiring, fencing. So we've got a Knurled plastic sheath. It's also made out of the Dupont Zytel. Got a retention here. Some of these will have 2 retentions. We've got a sharpening stone in the back. Right there. Drain hole. And then this is actually a Bianchi clip here going down into your Fastex area, into your webbing. This is a webbing attachment, bolts on here to your main scabbard. And then you've got a pouch that goes on. The pouch can be taken on or off. The pouch is designed to hold a 9mm magazine, pistol magazine, or it's also designed to hold little items, paracord, survival items, whatever you want to put in there. But the actual manual, the official manual, this is for holding a spare 9mm mag. Very cool. This is a little heavy. The whole system's a little heavy, but hey, don't cry about it. Just do it. Got to keep these oiled. You got to keep these maintenance. Ever so often, you want to really check your secondary cutting edge. Make sure there's no chips. Make sure your blade is solid. You got to make sure this is mission ready every time you use your M9 multi-bayonet system. Goes for the sheath as well. Check it out. Make sure that your cutter plate is solid. Make sure your T-Lug is solid. You always want to check your stuff. Do a PMCS on it. Just look over. Make sure everything is mission ready. Very cool bayonets. Okay, so the first ones, like I said, came out in 87, 89, 325,000. They did a civilian version where they stamped them Buck and Frobus with a chevron or whatever the year code. Those went to civilian. You've got black oxides that are commercial versions. Some guys got a hold of these commercial versions that went to Kuwait. These different deployments. It's not uncommon for a soldier for them to have an M9 that's not the actual Frobus military versions. Okay, it happens. This one is this one's stamped Buck up here. This is your black oxide. This one's a 1991 commercial version. It's got says Buck 188 plus USA. So this one was made in 1991 for the civilian commercial market. And that black oxide blade, pretty cool looking, isn't it? So they only made around 360 to 450 of these, somewhere in there. And they did some, and they've got some commercial ones with the +8 coat in the glass bead blasted gray color. That's what I call it, the glass bead blasted gray. So let's get up to speed on the finish, okay, guys? It's not phosphate. You either got black oxide or you got glass bead blasted gray. Very cool system. Mickey Finn is a very cool individual, and he did an outstanding job designing this and getting this orchestrated. I could go into detail about how he didn't get his second contract and all that, but you know, shit happens in life, and that's just the way you know, it falls. So guys, let me tell you the story about the initial M9 bayonets when they went out. So Mickey Finn won the contract. He took the 55 bayonets to the trials. They were in-house designed, handmade. They were all truly handmade, and that's what is really cool. A lot of people don't realize that, but all 55 of those first bayonets were totally handmade. They had real steel tang, screw-in tangs. They weren't the stainless steel that went onto production line, which those are nice too. They're heavy-duty stainless steel. But these were all totally handmade. They were stamped XM929. He took those to the trials. They kicked ass, won the military contract. And then so what happened is Buck started making the Frobus for the military. There was 1,200 of them that went out that had the Chevron date code stamped on it. This was against Army regulations, because anytime you're competing for a contract, you can't make any changes. So just putting this little date code on there is a change, and that's against the rules. So they contacted Buck, said no more date code. Those had already went out. Well, they had actually still had 166 there that they had stamped. So half of them went to Buck collectors. The other half went to Frobus collectors out of those 166. That was the very first ones. That's not the XM929s. That was the very first ones that went to, well, some of the very first ones went to the 1st Battalion 58th Rangers in Fort Benning. But I just know those first 1,200, they were stamped with the date code, and they weren't supposed to have the date code. So that's a little history about those. All right, guys? You got different generations. There's 2nd generation, 3rd generation, 4th generation. Mine's a 4th gen, 4-line. You got 2nd generation, 3-line, 2nd generation. It all depends on what type of M they stamped. Your flat M's with the flat tops, 2nd gen. Tight M's with the tight lettering, that's your 3rd gen Frobus. Alright guys, I just want to do a quick video here for you, get you up to speed on the M9 bayonet. I will catch you guys on the next one.